Greetings everyone! Are you struggling to climb this ADC? This is the guide for you where I cover all the things outside of just get better that you can do to climb faster. I will sort the items into anti-squishy, anti-tank, anti-physical and magical items. Do note that the order in which I put them in is just a suggestion and every game is different. Also, not all ADCs want to buy the same items. This guide is primarily aimed at hyper carries, but it is useful for everyone. Also, you may notice a lack of Stormbracer and Gale Force. Mathematically speaking, they are not that good items, so I won't be including them here. Of course, every player and every champion is different, so you might find success with them anyway. First, I will present to you the items that you can purchase against a team that has no tanks, and at least 2 magical damage dealers, and at least 2 physical damage dealers on it. Kraken Slayer is a great choice if you can't predict how much armor the enemy will buy during the game. The on-hit effect deals true damage, so it bypasses armor. However, if the enemy also buys health, the damage won't be that significant. This item has extra value on hyper carries such as Jinx, Tristana and Vayne, whom attack very quickly, while having very poor value on, for example, Misfortune and Jhin, whom do not attack very quickly and they tend to fall off late game. Immortal Shield Bow is great if the enemy has a lot of assassins, such as Zed or Talon, which is even more likely low elo. Remember that surviving X% longer means that you get to do your damage X% longer as well. For your second item, you can choose between Runan's Hurricane for overall highest damage increase and teamfight domination, Bloodthirster against poke lanes, and it's generally just a really good item, and lastly, the Collector, if you are very far ahead and very confident, but you will likely search for something better when you are full build anyway. Third item is Infinity Edge always, if you picked your Kraken Slayer or your Immortal Shield Bow as your mythic item. For your fourth item, you should get the one you didn't already have between Runan's Hurricane and Bloodthirster. Additionally, you may purchase a Mortal Reminder here if the enemy team has a lot of healing or lifesteal. For your fifth item, you can choose Edge of Night, which I recommend every ADC player consider in every game, because the spell shield has such insane value, or you may choose Yomu's Ghostblade for the ability to chase. I only recommend Ghostblade if you feel like you're ahead and are confident. Now, if you decided to start Duskblade of Drakthar, you are more than likely playing something that falls off late game like Ezreal, Jhin or Misfortune. Just buy the items you see me pointing at here, and then look at the same fifth item as before. Finally, if you are smurfing, and I don't mean like you're just doing well occasionally, I mean if you're really smurfing, you're a platinum player doing bronze games, you can go with Prowler's Claw. You actually do not purchase the Prowler's Claw until after your 2 crit items and Infinity Edge. The reason is that a lot of Prowler's Claw's value come from its mythic passive. Against squishy teams, it won't really kick in until you have several fully built items anyway, but it will do very poorly against any kind of tankiness. As you stack up on like more items and you get the more lethality through the mythic passive, you're going to shred more and more through squishy characters. We are not buying Prowlers for its active effect, we're buying it for the sheer lethality number. But yeah, after that, just follow the items like before, since Prowler's Claw does not give you crit. For the boots, you will most likely purchase Berserker's Greaves, which is fine, but if the enemy team has a lot of crowd control, consider buying Mercury Threads. The tenacity could prove invaluable in those matchups. Also, if they have a lot of auto-attacking champions like Master Yi, or they have like a hyper carry ADC like Tristana, plated steel caps could be just as valuable in those specific situations. Remember, being alive X% longer means you do your damage X% longer. Now that we're done with that, I would like to show you a suggestion on how to build against tanks. Kraken Slayer is the same as before. If you're unsure, just go with Kraken Slayer. You can never go wrong with Kraken Slayer. In this case though, If you know all of the enemy team is going to buy any amount of armor, Kraken Slayer is not the best choice. That would actually go Eclipse, even if you auto-attack a lot. Removing 20% armor, or 24 if you're sneaky and selling your boots late game, means much more in this scenario than Kraken's on-hit damage. The second item is the same as before, except the Collector is no longer an option. For your third item, again, Infinity Edge unless you chose Eclipse, in which case, postpone it until you buy Bloodthirster and Runans. Fourth item is Lord Dominic's Regards, if you are a hypercarry. Serelda's if you are not a hypercarry. That means you're MF, you're Gen, you're whatever. Fifth item is Black Cleaver. Remember that this is anti-tank, as in we're trying to beat a full tank team. So removing 30%, then 24%, and another 20% armor if you pick the Eclipse means a lot more than anything else you can purchase. I have a special tip for you though. If you happen to be last pick and your team already has 4 physical champions, pick a magic damage dealer instead of an ADC. You'd be surprised at how much this can change your win rate. Okay guys, so listen carefully. This part is likely the most important part. I'm going to tell you how to beat teams with 4 or 5 physical champions. If you think that's irrelevant, have a look at your match history. Please, go on. And check how many Yasuos there has been met. I'll save you the trouble. It's a lot. So against a team that is full AD, you're mostly doing your usual 2 crit items and Infinity Edge thing. Pick your mythical, Kraken or Shield Bow. Pick a crit item. I have the 3 I think are the most useful on screen, so you could choose one of those. Purchase Infinity Edge for your third item, as always. Now we're getting to the fun part. Math. Your boy. Don't worry, I'll do it for you. I'm a nice guy like that. So, you have 2 items left. You have your core 2 items and Infinity Edge. So since I'm playing Jinx in the game, let's use her for the calculations. The enemy is Rengar Jungle, Zed Mid, Aurelia Top, Pyke Support, and Jhin ADC. Those are all physical champions. So, you start the game with 28 armor, but of course you have another 12 from your runes because you spotted their weakness thanks to my guides. Jinx gets 3.5 armor per level. She levels up 17 times. 17 times 3.5 is 59.5, but let's say 60. So, at level 18, you're going to have 100 armor baseline. At 100 armor, you reduce the damage of the entire enemy team by 50%. That's half. Now, let's say you buy a Guardian Angel and Death's Dance as your last 2 items. Plus plated steel caps, of course, but boots are just the best source of getting cheap stats. Guardian Angel gives 40, Death's Dance gives another 40, and steel caps give 20 armor. That's another 100, putting you at 200 armor for 67% reduction. You're taking only a third of the damage the entire enemy team should be doing. That's a big deal. You still have your core items, you still have extra AD from the Death's Dance and Guardian Angel. You have almost lost nothing, but gained immense survivability for no other reason than the enemy having no magic damage. Congratulations on hitting Diamond. You learned how to abuse Yasuo mid. Well done. Okay, so I went in great details with the counter to AD teams, because it happens so often. And the lower in ELO you are, the more often that is going to happen. Luckily, it is extremely rare to find yourself facing a team with 4 AP, and you will almost never be facing 5 AP. But I will smack your salvation up on the screen for you if it does somehow happen. More of Memorious. It has a lovely magic damage shield, it has MR, it has AD, it even has a little bit of ability haste on it. Fantastic. Also, there's a Wit's End for attack speed and on-hit damage. Yes, I'm looking at you, Vayne, Kai'Sa, and Kog'Maw. And of course, Mercury Threats, because duh. And Spirit Visage if you want to make the enemy cry. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If it helped you, please hit a like. If you enjoyed viewing it at all, please consider subscribing because there's more coming. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again next time. Farewell.